Hello everyone, welcome to the Arena Australis first ever podcast. We're joined by RocketClare and Bamboss. RocketClare from Tassie and Bamboss from Sydney. Bamboss is happy to be here and Claire is chuckling. Happy to be here, Claire?
I'm thrilled.
Thrilled to be here. First one, so we'll see how we get on with it and yeah, hopefully enjoy what we have to talk about, and I'll pass to Claire to say what we're all about.
Okay, thanks very much, Stumpy. Hi everyone. We thought we'd start our first podcast by talking a bit about what Arena Australis means and what it's all about. So for those of you who are part of the Discord server already, you may not know the history of how it came about, and basically it was started by a guy called Balzersville, who was the former Sylph Warden for Australia, along with Ranger Bennett, who's the current warden. So he's now taken over and looks after the server along with an admin team. So the idea of them starting the server up was to provide the Australian PvP community with a central hub to organise and compete in Sylph tournaments. At that stage, there was no GBL in Pokemon Go, so it was quite different. So Sylph were really great in the way they took charge and started organising a way for us to be able to compete and get to understand how PvP and how tournaments could work. And I guess they also started the server as a way to provide remote areas and people who don't have their own sort of active Sylph community with an opportunity to participate in tournaments. And the aim of the server is to foster and grow the PvP community. So when we're organising things or when we're planning, that's what we sort of come back to. In season 1, they went with a tiered lobby scheme. I think there were about 6 or 7 lobbies. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Eventually, I think to start off with, there was probably only about 4, and then they just added lobbies on as we got more and more people that were interested in joining. And then in season 2 and 3, the lobbies were rearranged a bit just as people came and went. Some people improved their skills. Some people sort of preferred to stay where they were. So we did a bit of rearranging, and it also made quite a big difference when the friendship requirements for battling were removed from Pokemon Go because COVID hit. Then it suddenly became less about having a lobby where you've had to level up with people to become ultra friends, and we were able to have a couple of lobbies. We had a mega lobby and then another one called the Colossal Lobby, which incorporated quite a few members and meant that we were able to have tournaments that were, 6 or 7 rounds, usually getting between 40 and 50 participants just in that one tournament, which is also great fun and a great opportunity for people to really level up if they do well. So season 3, we've got 4 active lobbies plus the colossal lobby for tournaments, and apart from those ranked tournaments, we also do some other fun stuff that people love to participate in. So we've got the Aurora League, where we have a champion, 4 team leaders and some gym leaders, 8 gym leaders, and challengers can come along and challenge one of those per day and progress through that competition with the opportunity to join the Hall of Fame if they manage to beat the champion at the end. We also run flash and practice tournaments, and we've also run a draft tournament as well, which is something that was great, something new for Australia, which we hadn't done before. A lot of Aussies hadn't participated in a draft tournament before, hadn't had the opportunities, so that was really good fun. We've also run team tournaments, which I know Bamboss is going to talk a lot more about later on because that was his baby. And yeah, we're just sort of starting to really broaden our social media presence. We've started a Twitter account, trying to make sure that people understand that Arena Australis is here for them, trying to get word out that there's an opportunity for people to join, Australian tournaments, meet other battlers within Australia, hone their skills, and yeah, particularly if the local scene is dropping off, which it seems to be in a few places with obviously no in-person battles, Arena Australis is there for people to utilise. And that's about all I've got on Arena Australis.
Excellent. All sounds pretty good to us. Said lobbies have all been really successful, and it's good to see the PvP community sort of expanding in Australia with COVID as well as new battlers joining.
Yeah, I know for me personally, I think joining, I think, well, Arena Australis was the first remote tournament server that I was able to join, and it made a huge difference. It sort of opened my eyes up to how many battlers there were out there, and all the different range of skills, and certainly a lot more information was became available once I joined. So certainly helped me personally, and I know a lot of other people feel the same way. So yeah.
When did you join Bamboss to the AA scene?
I think I joined up pretty much right at the start.
Season 1.
So when we were being asked, how do you want to do things, Balls of Steel sort of put the word out, and it was quite exciting in that we still didn't quite know how it was all going to work out. So early on, I think the idea was to copy the Go Stadium model, where you would have lobbies, and then those who would do really well would sort of get promoted up to a higher lobby, and presumably towards the end, if you don't do well, you get relegated downwards. And in the end, we decided to stick to a more, casual get to know your lobby, play with them a lot rather than mix it up every season or every couple of months, which I think has its benefits. Like, I definitely enjoy battling the same people month after month and bantering and getting to know them. And there's some really great lobbies that have, I think, was it Gloat who tried to set up their own faction last month. They actually want to have their own lobby, forming a team of 7 or 8 for the new Self Arena team tournament system, which I'm sure we'll get to in a future podcast as these are called.
Yeah, it's good that I think it's good that it's sort of the most sort of new player friendly server, I believe, with AA. I feel like it's a bit daunting going into Go Stadium and going into sort of Colossseum, that went in there, and it was kind of very you felt sort of too below that sort of level, and sort of AA when I joined there, it was kind of like very much a good place to start, I think, and it was really good. Then the players, had nothing but sort of good mates from there, and sort of met a bunch of good people from the AA server. So most definitely. So we're going to move into the next section of the podcast. So we'll go from there.
Okay, so we're having a look at the team tournament. I think we have a couple of graphics that are going to come up to talk through a little bit. So a little bit of background on the team tournaments. Unlike the regular tournaments where people play individually, the idea of the team tournament is you play in a team of 4. You have 24 Pokemon instead of 6 on your team. Each player takes 6 of those, but they have to be 24 unique Pokemon across the board. So if one person has a Azumarill on their team, no one else on the team of 4 is allowed to have a Azumarill. Same thing with, Altaria, Registeel, whatever. And we had 13 different teams all join up. So that's 52 players, making it one of the biggest tournaments we've had. Matter of fact, I think the Forest Cup back in May of last year is the last time we had a tournament with more than 50 players. So it's really great to see so many people get really interested in the off season at that. And so we had 13 teams, really pleased to see that they're from across Australia as well. So we had teams from towns in New South Wales and Victoria. There was a team representing Tasmania, but we also had 4 teams from players from all over the place, including, incorporating, I think, 4 players from South Australia, 2 players from Queensland. We had a player from North America and one from Spain join up from expat AA members. So really great to see all of those teams from, representing their local communities come along. And you can see some of the team names there, a couple of, fan favorites, the Two-Headed Devils, the New South Whoopers, some really funny, clever names coming through. And because of the nature of it, there was some, you could tell that there was some meta picks. So Azumarill picked by all 13 teams, Stunfisk picked by all 13 teams, and Swampert picked by all 13 teams. Every single team picked those 3 Pokemon. But I wanted to see what some of the spicy picks were. So things like the Sunny and Icy Cast form. Only one player picked those. One person even brought in a Lugia, which was really nice to see. Of the 2 teams, I don't know if Dr. Trotter, we can get the Group A and Group B back on the board. It was generally seen, in my view, that Group B was, what I deemed the group of death. As it were, Stumpy, you and I both participated. We both participated in Group B, the group of death. How would you describe the level of difficulty that you found in that particular group?
Yeah, it was a tough competition. Like, Whoopers were, they were unreal to play. Everyone I played, I'd say it was not an easy match in there. It's just the standard was unreal, and it was good to see you know, especially for a team tournament, sort of, you expect there to be a little bit of a gap between like sort of skill levels, people just sort of dipping their toe in while it's off season and stuff. I think it was overall, I said, very, very competitive tournament and really a great format to sort of show that.
And how did you find that it plays differently to a regular Silph tournament? Are there any things in particular that stand out to you?
I like the added pressure of being on a team's quite different compared to the pressure you feel by yourself is not quite as much. I don't think as you feel when you're on a team. You think of people that rely on you, and sort of you think that if you don't quite play to, you know, to the standard that you feel like you should, that it can let your team down. So I can feel like that sort of thing is a little bit more added pressure, and especially coming down to the last couple of games when they say, oh, you need to win 3-0 for us to win this matchup, and you have to win 2-1. I can imagine it does get a little bit tense and a little bit more pressure, which is, but I said the format itself, I said I've done the 3. We've done the New South Wales one, was the first one I believe we ran.
Yeah.
And then we did the state of origin, which was awesome fun. And then this one here is amazing. And yeah.
Okay. Now, if we move on to the finals, so from Group A and B, we had I think it was a quarterfinal, moved to a semi-final, and then a grand final between 2 teams: the New South Whoopers from New South Wales and the Ironheads, who were actually a global team. So there were players from around Australia, but also from around the world. 2 fantastic teams. If you look at their Silph rating, every single one of them would have ranked in the top 100 in Australia. So we're talking really top players on each team. And as the results started to come in, the Ironheads were consistently about 3 battles ahead. So they were coming in, you know, 12-9 and then 18-15. And it was right on the last day that Bowie Jangles and Dennis came in with about, you know, I think 8 wins to 3, something like that, or 9 wins to 3. I'm forgetting exactly how many, and managed to pull off the victory. So congratulations to the New South Whoopers, who got a tight but decisive win. I wanted to make some specific call-outs to a few players. So Bowie Jangles from the New South Whoopers won 35 out of 51 battles. And you've got to remember that the latter battles are against some of the top players, some of the top teams out there. Gengineer from the Ironheads, 34 out of 51 battles, the second place team. But Anisotropic, whose team didn't even make the grand final, he actually won 33 out of 39 battles. So almost enough to get his team into the grand final. But
crazy good.
33 out of 39. Okay, he only lost 6 battles out of all of those. So some amazing plays through that. The team tournament format is, I think, really, really fun. I like the fact that, as Stumpy said, you can chat to your team members. Unlike regular tournaments where you can't seek assistance, because you're a team, you can actually ask your team members, hey, what do you think I should run against this particular team? What strategy should I run with? And that makes it really different. It's something that is encouraged. It's collaborative. And it reminds me a little bit of when raiding came in and the game went from being competitive to collaborative. So we are hoping to run more team tournaments in the future, usually during the Silph Arena break. So maybe after the current season is over. But I'm also keen to see how the faction system plays out, to see if we incorporate any of that in, or maybe not, as we go on into the future. So that's a little bit about the most recent team tournament. We're now going to move on to some breaking news with Stumpy.
Yeah, well, moving on. We're up to the breaking news for the video. So we've got the Silph Invitational that hopefully a lot of you tuned into to see the Aussie participants in there. We've got PvP Steve, which we all know. Dr. Trotter and Fisher and Heater also competed with, I believe it was Dr. Trotter's team who ended up taking out the entire tournament. So, amazing result. The 7 Wonders team, I believe, were the ones that took out the entire thing. So, beating PvP Steve's Squirtle squad, I believe, Claire?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, yeah, well done to those guys getting the invites to that. And, yeah, good to see some Aussie representation in that the global sort of tournament. Legendary ranks, Claire. Some names here familiar to you?
Yeah, so we've become aware of a couple of Aussies and a couple of New Zealanders who have managed to get to Legendary in GBL, which is a great achievement that we wanted to recognise. So we've got Anisotropic, Inner Bloom, Yusuf Haru and Sun Jin Hung. Congratulations to all of them. There may be others, so let us know if you hear of others so we can recognise them as well. But yeah, really great recognition for those guys. It's not an easy task, as most of us know, and really wanted to give a shout out to them.
Excellent. The draft tournament we had concluded with our 4 finalists: Caddy, Engineer, Unkempt Beast in third M, with Unkempt Beast managing to get the win over the original tournament winner Engineer in the final. So congrats to him. Some tough battles. Jen running that brutal core. He loves his Dugong, loves his Tropius, and Unkempt Beast able to overcome that and secure the victory. So congrats to you, and yeah, well done.
Awesome.
So moving on from there, so
Labyrinth Cup.
Claire for Labyrinth Cup.
Yes.
Time, let's go.
We have the long-awaited Labyrinth Cup for February, which everyone was pretty excited about, I think. I think Sylph did a really good job having a nice break in January. I know most people I've talked to, including not just battlers, but tournament organisers, were really happy to just be able to take that breath and kick back for a bit and reflect. And I think what that meant was that by the time a Labyrinth Cup was actually announced, there was heaps of excitement for it. And Sylph have also done a fantastic job in designing this one. I think the reception to it that I saw on Twitter and thereabouts was really, really positive. I think they obviously put a lot of work every time into their metas and their themes, and sometimes do cop a bit of flack, probably unfairly, because I think it'd be a really tough job to put these together. But Labyrinth Cup, they seem to have really struck a good balance, particularly with a lot of the bands. But Stumpy, you were saying before you've got a few ideas about, you still think there might be some Pokemon that you see on every team. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I called it the Vigroth Cup because it just seems like, I think every practice tournament I've sort of had a video. I always lurk in the couple of tournaments I've seen, had a look at a couple of teams. I always like to see what the meta's looking like. There's a couple of places on Twitter, and Vigroth does seem to be the only sort of mon that sort of sticks out on every single team. But like I said, it's definitely the best. I think it's my favorite of the early on. It's my favorite of the 4 metas they've run so far. So I reckon that this one's going to be quite a interesting one with some interesting Pokemon like Regirock I've made that I've never ever used before, stuff like that. So it's always good to see new mons sort of feature, and then we'll get to see the Dark Bird as well. Mandibuzz really show its I think bulk in this cup as well. So I'm really looking forward to this tournament, and I'm looking forward to all the Colossal Cup as well. For A is going to be awesome.
Do you think, though, that this one gives the opportunity for people to just, I think it's very broad, and I'm hoping that it's not going to distill down like a lot of them do to just being the same half dozen to 8 Pokemon that you see everywhere. I like the idea of having a cup where people can take the Pokemon that they love battling with, they love playing, and use those to build a team around. I'm really hoping we see more of that, and I feel like this cup's got that potential.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's one of those cups where you can go, all right, well, like I said, I decided to do Regirock because I was like, I've never used this in a tournament before. I just want to really try something new, something different, and then build a little bit of the core around that. Still pick, a couple of meta mons in there, but also it is such an open meta. You don't have to worry too much about the big names they've banned. I think the bans are really appropriate. I don't think there's anything there glaring that I go, oh, that looks a little bit overpowered. It all seems very balanced in my opinion.
The bans actually make it. They make it.
Oh, 100%. Totally agree.
Yeah. And if, like me, you want to get your Sylph badges, I'm keen to do at least one tournament this month where I use entirely monotype Pokemon, and this is a really great opportunity to do that. So things like your Vigoroths obviously is a fan favorite, but Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, things like Kanto, Raichu, Politoed, Meganium, or Cherub, they're all quite legitimate, viable mons in this cup, and you can do an entire team of monotypes, and there is, as I understand it, a Sylph Traveler card badge that you will get if you participate in at least one tournament with those. I don't know if you have to win or
you
get
have to finish top 50%, I believe, is to get that badge. I think PvP Steve was having a good crack at that on one of his videos to no great success, unfortunately for him, but it was very much entertaining to watch. So
I reckon Bamboss has got that in the bag.
My backing him back.
Top 50%, no worries.
I want to bring back Sudowoodo. He's my boy.
What a
Regirock sounds great, but I want to use Sudowoodo.
Battle of the Rock types. Love it.
All right, we're going to have a look at the Aussie leaderboard now. So we've got some familiar names on the leaderboard. So we're just having a look at it this month, and then next month when we touch base with you guys again, we're going to have a look and see what movements there have been. So looking at it now, we've got Dr. Trotter in number 1 place, our old mate. I wonder if he can hold on to that. What do you guys reckon? No, everyone's too scared to say.
Hard man to beat. So
pretty daunting, huh?
Daunting task. Number 1 in Australia. Said iconic.
You're at number 3, Stumpy, so it might be up to you.
It's only his first month at number 1. You got to remember that Dennis actually held the top spot in the first 2 months.
Yeah, formidable battler, Dennis. So it's going to be interesting to see if someone can knock him off the top spot. I said I'm not going to be trying too hard, unfortunately, but we'll. I think peak 3 might be the peak, I reckon, but we'll see how the month goes. Always
see
fun,
how
though.
we go. See how we go. That's definitely. Trotter's probably got a target on his back, so there you go. We'll see. We'll touch base and see how that goes. So yeah, we've got quite a few familiar Arena Australis names there, which is great to see. We've got Jim, Telegraph Train, Fish on a Heater, Agent Magikarp. Agent Magikarp had a great run this month, last month, in our Aurora League battles. He was the champion and made it really tough for people to get. I think only 2 people made it through to the Hall of Fame thanks to him. Always a pretty formidable opponent. We've got our G'day Battlers bloke, Steve, there at number 9. And then Jay Dorr from Melbourne at number 10. So all very familiar names and quite worthy of the top 10 spot, I would say. And we'll just see how, who's maybe able to chip away and grab a spot in the top 10 next month.
Definitely.
All right. So thanks very much for listening, everyone. Thanks, Stumpy and Bamboss, for joining me. And that was heaps of fun. It was great to catch up with you guys and just have a bit of a snapshot on how things are tracking so far this season. And we'll look forward. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, see you next time.
See you next time.